Think we're live. Let's see. Doesn't look like it is.
Oh, looks like your YouTube. We're good. I see us.
We're on?
I think so.
All right. For some reason it's not coming up on my phone, but I guess we're on. So let me see. Let me just make sure. Check the chats here. All right. So, all right. So I think we're on. Do you see people going off in the chat? I don't.
I don't see. I see people like in there. Like there's some people watching, but I don't see anybody like leaving messages yet.
Okay. Let's see. Device not connected. All right. Well, for anyone that is watching, welcome. My name is Thomas, and I'm joined by some special guests that we'll introduce in a little bit. And today is really just a showcase of other people's work. I thought it'd be really cool to actually get people involved and see what the community is doing. So I work on a lot of dioramas, obviously a lot of turtle stuff, but really I wanted to see like what else other people can do, or kind of draw out that imagination. So the theme of this one was TMNT Bedsheets. So I'm wearing my TMNT Bedsheet shirt. I got my TMNT curtains back there. But I'm glad I'm not doing the stream alone, because I'm joined by someone I've been following for a while, Captain McKay. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Good to be a part of this.
Sweet. So Captain actually did put in his entry, so we'll go over that in a little bit. But just to kind of talk and give an idea of what gave me this idea. So other than the bedsheet idea, I saw someone else, and let me pull up some pictures here. Right. Let's see. I got that up. So obviously these sheets are pretty iconic. I think I definitely had some bed sheets that I always thought like they were really whimsical, and like these TMNT sheets were definitely it for me. Maybe like Dick Tracy, Tiny Toons. I had some other good ones. Do you have any cool ones, Cap?
I thought I probably had like Batman Returns ones, or like animated series or something like that. But one of my close friends definitely had these Ninja Turtle ones. So that's like they're burned in my brain. Like I definitely have seen these.
Yeah, like I always remember seeing friends with like other kinds of ones, but like these for me, like I don't know, they were always kind of iconic. And then when this company came out with the shirt, I was like, oh, there must be a turtle fan like in their crew. But just looking at the design that I went for my own, because I wasn't going to ask the group to do it if I didn't do it myself, was these TMNT pillowcase designs. I based mine off the pillowcase, and I kind of wanted to make it kind of like a shadow box. And let's see, I think we might have, let's see, oh, it was a private chat. Getting comments in the private chat, not in the live. So I based it more off of this pillowcase. So that was kind of my concept. But looking at the broader design, there's so many different things you can do. And I think we're going to kind of see the spectrum of that when we go over to the different designs. I won't give it away, but I think, Cap, you kind of did what I wanted to do. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's see. I think what really kind of gave me the idea, so other than thinking of an iconic design, this is one of them. And then I think someone on one of the TMNT Facebook groups did this in a diorama. Have you seen this yet?
I did. I was impressed when I first saw that. I was like, that's just a little cool way to like just have a figure like set up on the shelf, and it's like instantly like evocative of like the old toys, like the card back and everything. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and I remember like seeing this and was just like, man, that's such a cool idea, because the card back was super iconic. And I just always thought that this was like just a cool idea. And they even put the punch on the top, which I thought was really cool. So eventually I wanted to do this, but I was trying to think of something else that, what maybe hasn't been done. And that's kind of where I landed on the bed sheet. So just going to check and see if our other friend is here. Having a hard time. I'll have to figure that out in a second, but I'll message him. But this is the other design that I saw someone do. So I think that person kind of started a trend, and then one person did this. And I was like, okay, so this is already out there in the ether. I wonder what other different designs there are. So this is the one I saw. thought it was pretty cool. And then that's kind of what sparked the idea. So I'll go over mine real quick, and then I really want everybody else to talk. So that was also kind of the point of this project. I think and because you build dioramas, it takes so long, and in the time in between projects, it's just I think I take like 3 weeks off after I make one. Like I'm just spent.
Yeah, I do. Like sometimes I get on a tear and I'm just like one into the next one into the next one. And then I'll just like get halfway through it and just hit a wall where I'm like, I don't want to look at foam for like a long time. So like right now I'm like doing one and it's coming along nice and I'm pacing myself. So I'm like trying not to burn out. But yeah, I'm definitely in the same boat with you on that one. Sometimes I'm just like, I need a little bit of time to not think about this.
Yeah, and it's just like I do a lot of my work in the garage, and we were just talking. So Cap's from upstate New York. I'm from Orlando, so it's really hot here. And it's in the summer months in the garage, I just don't want to be there. So to really motivate myself to get started. But anyways, I would do mine off the pillowcase. So I did it with a simple frame. I cut out all these little pieces. I really tried to get the texturing of the color. So it looked like it was a brown almost background, and then I dry brushed with white, and I thought that kind of captured that like white design that was on the pillowcase. And then I really made it a shadow box. I put some lights on the inside, and I did make the other color on the back, because if you take the pillowcase and flip it, it has blue on one side, red on the other. And I put so many magnets on that was just uncalled for. When I went to go like put it on, I should have known it, just because it was a 1/2 inch piece of foam, it was pushing it away. So, I mean, I painted the other side for no reason because it can't even stick that way. But the idea was there. But then I just kind of had fun. I think the one thing I kind of messed up on was like lining up my letters, or not realizing that some of the letters are like not the same. So like I thought just like I cut all the letters out. Mm-hmm. And then I thought like, oh, this E is the same as another E. And then, like they are different.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, because they would be angled like certain. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So it's a little wavy, but this is now lives in my mom's house, and we'll talk about that in a second. But there's a reason I wanted to give it to her. So I just kind of threw all my turtles in there, the trolls, the classic turtles. My mom made these. I think that's why I kind of made this, and I said, hey, this is going to live at your house now. So it's in her like little game room. But put the 2003 turtles in there. Thought they look cool. Right now, she has my sister's turtles in there. So this is at her house. She put the 2007 movie figures in there.
Nice.
And the Power Ranger ones. It was just kind of cool seeing like different forms in there, because I think what we're probably used to is the cartoon looking turtles. So in the end, I kind of posed them in the same way that the pillowcase was. And I think when I put them in last, I think that was kind of like the final shot for me. That's what I wanted to see. Mm-hmm. So it was just kind of cool to see it all come together. But yeah, it was fun. The letters were hard. That I used Silly Winks. It's really soft foam. And sometimes it just kind of stretches and pulls it. So even if you like trace it right, it'll just kind of make it look a little warped. But
I know this stuff. I have the same, like that really thin, like foam that like you could cut what you think is a perfect shape, but just even like cutting it is going to like stretch it somehow. And you end up with just like slightly off.
Yeah. And it's unless your blade is like sharp, but me, I stopped paying attention. I just keep cutting without realizing things are dull. But then I saw this picture, and I was going to make another one, but then I said it's a little too much. But I wanted to take an element of this, so I actually did make myself a little bed.
That's cool.
So, got my little pillowcases here, they're reversible. So I might do a tutorial on how to make this. It was just kind of easy, but there's material that you can like print on that. It's just super easy. You just put the design online, and then that's it. So
nice.
All right. So I promised myself, because on the last live I did, I was not good at checking comments at all. So I'm just going to, after each section, we'll kind of go over the comics. So it looks like we have Dorak in there. Ironic, I just finished mine today, put out a video showing it all. Oh, it's sweet. Yeah, you got to send that to us. I live in San Antonio and have my area in my garage, so I understand. Oh, yeah, Texas. I think if Brock joins us, he's also from Texas, so um, understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, cool. Caught up on comments. I don't normally can't see, or normally could see more people in the chat, but all right. I'm gonna let you, or actually, I don't think it's. We're on Titus right now, so Titus couldn't join.
Mm-hmm.
I think your project's next, but Titus went for a more realistic diorama, which
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
cool.
was pretty cool. So he used his movie turtles in this, and the way he built it is actually super smart because he went for a different look. But I feel like if he took the turtles out of there, this can double for another diorama, right? I mean, if he could put like some corrugated cardboard on there, now you have the outside of a building. So he could definitely do more with this. Like mine is very singular. Like,
Yeah, this is really versatile. Like you're saying, you could put something like in that opening and just have it be like a street, like a building facing like any diorama, really.
yeah, which I don't know if it was on purpose, but I mean, that's definitely, at least he can use his for more. I was thinking like a garage or,
Yeah.
like I just got my biker mice from Mars. I was like, man, if I just would have done something that would have been multi-purpose. So this looks perfect. I would definitely put like a sheet of corrugated cardboard there, but really cool. He has a channel as well. So I'll make sure at the end of this, I kind of put everybody's information in the description. But I think he really did a great job with this. He sent it in. I don't know if I can get closer to the floor, but he did some cool texturing on the ground, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I think just for the sake of like being able to use this for multiple different things, it came out great. So, appreciate Titus for submitting that. I think he was like one of the first people to get it in too. So, he does some cool stuff. I think he has a really cool tutorial on building fire escapes, which is something I haven't done. I know you have.
I'm gonna watch that then because like I've done a few and like they're just very tedious for me. And I'm like, maybe I'm just missing something. Maybe I'm doing something that, I could learn a better way to do it. So I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. But yeah, like it's just a lot of very carefully placing like wood and or whatever you're using and just it's a lot of parts and straightening it out and making sure it looks good.
But they're pretty sturdy. Like once you get it glued and it's onto the piece, like it's like you feel comfortable putting figures on it.
Yeah, so like the one I built, I'm looking at it in my set now. Like it's plugged into the diorama and it's actually like pretty stable. So like I was able to support that Mezco Michael Keaton Batman, which is like a 6-inch figure, but he's like heavier because he's got that metal like skeleton on the inside. And he stood up there just fine. Didn't show any signs of like stressing the diorama at all. So
Nice.
you could like Marvel Legends, you could put like probably 2 or 3 of them up there and have it be completely stable.
Yeah, and that's why like I haven't really like I think in my last live stream, I think you mentioned something about doing like just a building, and I was like, I haven't done just like kind of your basics yet. Like I just kind of skipped ahead, and like so I would like to just do like some of the just the normal stuff because I have no dioramas for like just normal photography,
Yeah.
right? So it's like I need just generic landscapes or places. But until then, I just kind of everything's turtles. So pretty much if I do a review, which I don't do them often, the last one I did, it was Superman in front of my weird pizza. So it's kind of weird. I'm gonna pull up real quick and then I'll check on Brock and see where he is. But one of the things I did when I set the challenge was I kind of wanted people to talk about like, what maybe not the specific design, but just turtles in general. What does that mean for you? And since Titus isn't here, I'm going to kind of read off what he said. He actually had a really nice story. But Titus, he's the one that created this project. He said, I grew up watching the original cartoon series from 1987 to 1996. I also had my fair share of TMNT action figures, and between my friends and I, we pretty much had all the play sets and vehicles. I found memories of get-togethers, playing TMNT for hours outside or at each other's places. As far as my passion for building dioramas, I had gotten back into collecting action figures and just wanted to display them on something more than just a blank shelf. And that I relate to because I think all the shelves I have where it's just the shelf, I always get a little like, what can I put there?
Yep.
After watching Glenn Webb's customizing, are you familiar with Glenn Webb?
Yeah, he was great. I loved all his stuff.
he always pops up. I feel like his name's always coming up in chats and stuff. So people still thinking about him. Glenn, after watching Glenn Webb's customizing live build a building video 7 years ago, I was inspired by him to give it a go. Sadly, Glenn passed away before I was able to post my first video of my first diorama, and thank him for inspiring me. Since then, I have tried my hand in many types of dioramas, including rooms, rooftops, brick walls, caves, forests. These days, I hope that my videos inspire others to try their hand at building, or maybe show someone another way of building or installing features. So I thought that was a really nice story. It's Titus Dioramas, and at the end, again, I'll attach everything to the description, but I thought that was really cool. So really cool story. I love that he brought up Glenn, because again, I hear his name come up in the community all the time. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I'll put a link to his channel below. I think after that, let me double check what Dorok's saying in the chat. I did a fire escape out of DIY sticks from Etsy. Nice. Super glued mine to the wall. You can fit several figures on it, so that's good.
Nice.
Your name looks and sounds familiar. Yeah, I'm in Party Wagon under Thomas Joseph. I don't have my actual last name in there. Are you in Party Wagon?
I don't think so. I'm in one or two of these groups, but I can't remember which one, because I always see like my Facebook like shows me stuff I'm not even in. Like, so like if I'm scrolling, I don't know if it's a group I'm actually in, or if it's just a group that it's like, hey, you may be interested in this because you're in all these other action figure like hobby groups. But yeah, I have to look into it.
It's pretty cool. Doesn't seem to be a lot of like drama or vitriol in there, so I like it. I like
it's just like a fan group, or is it like custom work, or just a little of everything?
Kind of everything Turtles, but I think people are generally a little nicer on that page.
Oh, nice.
Some fandoms can get brutal, but they're pretty nice on there.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, I'd like to see Dorok's stuff. I don't know if I can get it all set up on here, but we'll check it out later. I think it's time for Cap's project. And right. Before I let you talk about it, I'm gonna say when I saw yours, I was kind of like, damn, that's what I wanted to do. But I love what you did. You got all the colors in there, and then this again you can do in so many different ways. So I'm gonna let you start. While you're talking, I'm listening, but I'm gonna check on Brock to make sure he's okay and is coming in the chat.
Sure, yeah.
I really want him to talk about his piece, but so first, I guess you can start off with where did we all get this crazy passion for turtles, right? I mean, I don't remember a time where I had toys and there just wasn't turtles, so it's just kind of always there. But what about for you?
Turtles was like one of the first things that I remember like kind of being like interested in like on a regular kind of basis, because like I always had like He-Man stuff, Masters of the Universe, but like I don't know, because I was so young, I don't remember if I was actually interested in it or if that's just what I was playing with because it was around. But Turtles, I remember a kid at the babysitter I went to had one of them, and I was just like fascinated by it. And then come to find out there's a cartoon and there's all these toys, and like so I just dove headfirst in. It was probably like 4 or 5 at the time, and so like a lot of my early like childhood memories have like Turtles in some way, whether it's just bringing Storage Shell Donatello to school with me, or like Casey Jones or whatever, and just like playing with him on the like slide at school. And just for years I just collected a lot of the Playmates stuff. And then it was probably like 2007, 8, like I kind of got back into it. Like I went back and watched some of the 2003 cartoon. I was like reading some of the Mirage comics that I found like online at the time, so I was kind of getting like a whole different appreciation for Turtles that I because I was only ever familiar with like the cartoon. And then there's all this other stuff. I'm like, oh wow, okay, this is definitely different, but it's cool. And since then, that's around the time I think NECA released the comic figures, the first versions, and that kind of hooked me like collecting them again, because I was going back and like I bought the 07 movie figures, the ones that you showed in your display before, and those original NECA Mirage ones, and I got the black and white ones, and like I started looking at like some of the 03 figures, and I'm like, okay, I'm going down this path again, aren't I, all these years later? And it's been pretty much nonstop ever since, like especially once NECA started doing like the movie and the cartoon ones. Like it's been a wrap for me in my wallet ever since.
I think the first video I might have seen of yours is when you went through all the Turtles.
That one is like, it's due for a revisit because there's been a couple of years and like a bunch of turtles since then. So I got to do something like a part 2 or what, I don't even know what. But yeah, that video is like the best performing video on my channel, and I'm like, that's cool, but like I made that in like a couple days, and meanwhile I'm spending months on stop motion, and like, you know, some a couple people watch it. I'm like, whatever, it's fine.
So I meant to talk about that when I introduced you, but I forgot. But you're kind of like a jack of all trades there, because dioramas, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The stop motion's fantastic.
Thank you.
And what's crazy is like, not that I'm not into wrestling, but I just haven't kept up with it in years.
Mm-hmm.
But like, even if it's wrestling, like I will watch it. And
I haven't really kept up with wrestling much. Like I'm familiar kind of with what's going on, but like there's a reason why all the wrestling stuff I do is like guys from like 20 years ago, because that's what I remember. Sense. That's what I think of, you know.
But like the Mortal Kombat one with all the fatalities, and it's crazy. I think like I've probably forwarded your videos more than anybody.
Nice. Well, hey, thanks.
But so dioramas, stop motion, but then you're a musician too.
Yeah, freelancing. So if anybody's familiar with like what NECA is doing with their stop motion ads, the guy doing the animation is a friend of mine. He works for NECA for like 2 years now, something like that. But he was like, hey man, if you want to be like on board with like freelancing and do music for these, we could set something up. So that's what I've been doing since beginning, like not last year, beginning of the year before, I think it was. And I remember like one of the first ones I did was actually the Raphael Frankenstein monster, the Universal one. So I kind of have like my foot in the door with like Turtles and Universal Monsters, which is like 2 franchises that I've always liked. So I'm like, oh man, that's cool. I'm a little footnote in that history now.
Well, it's funny because I think most of the time I watch YouTube, it's on in my living room, like on the TV.
Yeah.
And I remember just like watching that promo, and it was going through the whole thing, and I was like, oh, stop motion. And like I think of you when I think of stop motion. I was like, this is really good. And then at the bottom, normally I don't read the fine print, but like I saw Captain McKay out of the side of my eye, and it was like Leonardo DiCaprio and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I was like pointing at the two. I was like, I know that name. So then ever since then, and I remember like being like, oh crap, that's the same. I put 2 and 2 together pretty quickly. I was like, oh, it's the same person.
Yeah, like all corners of the internet, I'm haunting it. Like you can't get away from Captain McKay on the internet.
So yeah, sorry for not introducing that part of it at the beginning, but yeah, just really talented guy. You do a bunch of stuff that's really cool. And I don't know how you found me, but like it was at the very beginning.
Like, I think you had put like a sewer video, like a diorama up. And like at that point, I already built like my sewer. I don't even know if you can see it, but like I'm kind of like in the same boat with what you were saying before, where like I don't like just blank empty shelves. I want to have something on it. And so I built a sewer to like fit on to my shelf. And it wasn't long after where I think I saw that you had put a video up, and it just got recommended to me. And I was like, oh, let me see what this guy did for his sewer. Cause it's like, there's obviously similarities because it's both kind of styled after the same show and the same, you know, environment, I guess. But, you know, I was like, let's see, you know, you've done some different things, and I did some ideas that you might have done, and like, let's compare notes. I always like see what other people are doing. And that's, I think, the first time I saw your stuff. Was pretty much been following ever since.
Which is crazy because at that time I probably had like 15 subscribers. But no, I appreciate it. And like, you're really good at commenting, and like, normally what I do for your videos, like if I'm watching the whole thing, I like go back and watch pieces, comment on a piece, then go back, comment on it.
I've started reaching like obnoxious length in my videos, and I'm like, I gotta skip. Nobody's sitting here for an hour watching this Mezco Turtles thing. Like, who's doing that? But
if I have time, I did that one I watched in its entirety.
Oh, thank you.
Like in one shot. Like I didn't have to go back and like start where I left off. Like that one I did sit and watch because I didn't buy those, so I have to live vicariously through people like you. I'm just like, man, I don't have the FOMO, but they look great. They look fantastic.
Yeah, they are really good. If I do a follow up to like, you know, which ones are the best kind of thing, like I'm sure they'll be in there talked about and further detail. But yeah, I like them. And to be honest, they fit pretty nicely in some of the displays I already built. So it's not like I got to make something extra for them. They, they fit in the collection well enough as could be expected.
Yeah. Do you follow, is it Duarte Studios? I don't want to say his name wrong.
I know the name. I think they did the Street Fighter thing recently, right?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm thinking of? Okay. Yeah.
He's repainting all the Mutant Mayhem vans for the Mezco Turtles, and that's such a cool idea.
That's who that is. Okay. I know I've seen, it must be like a picture of like the Mutant Mayhem van with like a really nice detailed paint job with like the Mezco figures. Okay. That's awesome.
He does fantastic work, because the first thing I saw from him was he did all of Plunderling's like con displays. So those look fantastic.
Yeah. I saw
giant table.
Yeah, because I saw it in person at New York Comic Con last year. Like it was a really awesome like diorama. I think it was like a waterfall, and there was like all this like shrubbery and trees and all this other stuff. And I was just like, I don't collect the Plunderlings. I like them, but like it's just not something that really probably would fit in anything I'm using. But just like sitting there like floored by the diorama, I'm like, oh my God, like this is great.
Yeah, like I saw that and I was like every time I see someone else's work, I'm like, could I even come close to that? You start thinking. But then when he did a Street Fighter thing, I was like, I quit.
Yeah.
But I thought it was super cool. All right, so I can keep scrolling along. If you want to just tell me when to stop, I will.
Yeah, sure.
So I figured I'd put a picture of it complete at the beginning,
mm-hmm.
and then the kind of start to finish in between, and then another full picture at the end. So we kind of wrap it up.
Yeah, that works.
So what do you got?
All right. So like when I started, I was basically just kind of like cutting it. I knew I wanted to have it be like basically like a 12 by 12 kind of thing, because I have a shelf over here and it'll fit nicely in there. Like I'll be able to just stick the whole thing in there when I'm done. I have to figure out which shelf I want to empty off first and do that. But I also realized that was going to kind of like limit what I could put in it. So like, NECA figures are too big and like, anything I have. So I was like, so this is basically just going to fit the vintage Turtles and pretty much nothing else. And I was like, that's fine, because like I got that a couple years ago when I think it was GameStop reissued like just the 4 that are in the picture there. They're just them and their signature weapons. And I think it's come out again since then, recently, like in the past like 6 months.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think the same one.
Yeah, it looks the same. So that's kind of the set that I just had in mind for this. So this, what you're seeing there is just kind of like the rough outline. I think it's about like 5 inches deep or 4 inches deep. I had like just a flat piece in the back where like the squares were cut away. So you're going to be able to see like when all 4 colors get painted on there. That's just my like cross section in the middle. So like I could make the shelves, I guess, whatever you want to call it, the 4 like compartments.
Yeah, that was smart.
It worked out pretty well. Like the whole time I was doing this like magnetically, like the way I always do like dioramas. And I eventually realized, I'm like, even if I break this down to store it, let's say, like it's going to take up exactly the same amount of space as if I just glued it together. So I might as well just glue it all together, which is what I ended up doing. So it's magnetized and glued. But basically, yeah, I built it with the idea in mind that like I'm going to be able to like orient it in any direction. So like whatever colors I want to be wherever, like I'll be able to just spin it, and that's how it can be laid out, which was that was the only thing that kind of prevented me from putting a logo on it, because I was like, well, if I turn it sideways, then I got the logo facing down, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. So
what's cool is that like the actual design, like they're not all in the same color throughout the design. So
that's something I noticed when I went back to look at the sheets. I was like, so they got Michelangelo like in front of the orange one sometimes, but sometimes in front of like the blue, and like the turtles don't necessarily correspond to the color. So I was like, oh, so I don't have to do like anything. There's no rules to this. I can just do, whatever.
Yeah.
So basically like I painted the main piece, like that kind of tan color that you see there. And then I had a lighter tan color that I painted over like a black, like a silly wink style, like thin sheet of foam. And I did that because I just painted the entire thing, and then I cut out the shapes, because that left the black like outline when you cut it out instead of just painting it after the fact. So I was like, well, there you go. Like I don't have to paint outlines on it because it's already just kind of there. So That's just how I did that.
That's smart, because I actually did go back with like a paint marker and had to add all the lines in. So that's actually a really good idea.
I learned that I made my like Technodrome a while back, and like I learned that when I was doing like all the paneling in there. I was like, if I just paint the whole sheet silver and then I cut it out, the black will show through and it'll look like that cartoon, like the hard outlines and everything. So I was like, that's something I'll carry forward into this.
Oh,
And
that's smart.
yeah, it's it worked out pretty nice. I'm looking at it over here now, and it's set up, and I'm trying to figure out now which shelf over here is going to have to get some stuff taken off so I could put it on there.
This is a piece that needs to go in the living room.
It's just like first thing when you walk in, I'm like, behold, turtles.
And I feel like it's people will look at it and like, especially a turtle fan, they'll be like, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, that's what's cool about like this whole thing. I'm like, those bed sheets are like unmistakable, and yet people are going in like so many different directions with like their approach to like the thing you made and the thing I made are like very obviously similar, but yet in two completely different directions. And it's all, based on the same exact bed sheet. So I knew it was going to be cool seeing like what direction other people went with this.
Yeah, I think if I had more people that probably saw the challenge video, I think we would have got a little more different minds in, but I don't think it got that far out there. But I mentioned in the announcement video, like, oh, if someone was to do this like Mutant Mayhem style, you can make the bricks all purple, or if you wanted to,
I remember,
like Universal Monsters, like make it look like really dark and gritty and dirty.
Mhm.
But I don't know, because other than the bed sheet design, it's just a cool way to display figures, right? I mean, you can put so many things here. With yours, you can turn it any which way, which I love. That's kind of the one thing when I saw it, I was like, damn it, I should have done that. But no, it came out awesome. I think you might have more pictures here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I tried to like show pictures of like, because every side has like some of the brick patterns too. So no matter which way you're looking at it, you're going to be able to see the pattern on it. And I just wanted that consistency, so that way you're not looking at the side and it has like just foam color, like nothing on it.
No, it's awesome. Let's see. You might have one more, but let me just check on the chat. Yeah, because the last time I did a live stream on my phone, I couldn't see the chat. Oh, Titus is in the chat. Hey guys, sorry I couldn't make it to live stream today. Hopefully next time I'll be able to hang out. I'll watch the full stream later. Just want to pop in. So Titus, don't worry. We got your story out there and we showcased your design. Really appreciate you contributing.
That's cool.
Really awesome. Yeah, I think he was running around today. I figured Sunday. I don't think anyone does live streams on Sundays.
I know Bill Maru was streaming, and like
he does it early.
He does it, yeah. Like it's, I think, 3 p.m. our time. He does. Okay. So it's there's the market's pretty open on Sundays.
Bro, who's this we're talking about? Need to know the guy. So it's Duarte Studios, and he's buying up all the Mutant Mayhem party wagons, and he's repainting them, making them look like real gritty. But the Mesco Turtles look friggin' awesome there. Mm-hmm. The guy with the Plunderlings, I got one. Yeah, I have too many of those. So, okay, and then actually, that's awesome. Let's see. Do I have one more from you? Yeah. So and then I think I capped it off. So I wanted to have like a complete one at the beginning and end. So I think this one is different than the first one because you changed it up. So and that's the thing. You can turn this thing on any side.
Yeah, rearrange like which figures are in front of which color, and like I think it actually almost looks better when they don't match the color behind them, because it just makes it stand out that little bit more. It's very like pop art, like a Beatles album cover or something, except it's just turtles.
Yeah, I can see like a little Andy Warhol.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you have a way, like there's 4 turtles, but did you have a way that you grouped them together, or like you still group them together?
I never really like had that in mind. Like I know there's like the video game select screen has a certain order, and like like the cartoon introduces them in a particular order. So I think that's kind of what I default to. So like if you're going like in book reading order, you got Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, which matches the theme song. But yeah, like I don't really necessarily place them in any particular order. Especially with this, you can just stick them in there anywhere.
It's so weird because I feel like in the movies, Donnie and Mikey were always kind of hanging out together.
Yeah.
While Leo and Raph were always kind of butting heads.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, and this has stuck with me for years, whenever those mini mutant playsets came out, the one that was like Leonardo's body, it came with Leo and Mikey. And then the one that was Raphael's body came with Raph and Donnie. So till this day, whenever I think of like, okay, if they're split up, who's going to be together? It's always Mikey and Leo. And then Raph and Don, just because that's how I remember those like little play sets. I'm like, oh, there's a reason they're together. They kind of balance. So I don't know.
Yeah, Mikey needs the discipline, and you know, Raphael needs like somebody to talk him out of going and starting fights and stuff.
So when I put like the blue next to the purple, I'm like, oh no, that's not what I remember. It's like Donnie has to go with Raph all the time, but I don't know. It's just a weird obsessive compulsive thing.
I think that's like what NECA did when they approached like the movie Turtles too. Because if you get like the 2-packs, like the first movie one is like Leo and Donnie together, and then the Secret of the Ooze one is like Leo and Raph. And I think the Turtles 3 set has Leo and Mikey together. I'm not 100% sure, but I've only ever seen like that set once, and I think Donnie and Raph were the ones that I saw. So I'm like, that leaves the other two. But I was like, oh, okay, so they're going to get you no matter what. So you can't just buy the Turtles 2 version of, you know, 2 of them and then get the Turtles 1 version of the other ones, because you're going to end up with the same turtle more than once. And
yeah,
I'm like, they got you.
From the beginning of the movie line and the tune line, I'm just so happy that just ordering them and just forgetting about it until it shows up on your doorstep. That's all. I'm like, it's just so much nicer to get that box instead of going hunting for them. I remember when the Casey and Trenchcoat Raph came out. Mm-hmm. When I believed in the street dates, I was at Walmart every day.
I had a rough time, like in the dark ages back then, with like the Target 2-packs, and where my job is like in, you know, like 5-10 minutes in either direction is a Target. So like every day on my lunch break, I'm going to one of those Targets, and I was able to like pick up pretty much everything I needed, which is great. But like, I also only saw some of that stuff that one time that I picked it up. So like, you know, the April and Foot Soldier 2-pack.
Never saw that in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think I may have seen it like once besides the time I bought it, and I picked it up for a friend of mine who needed it. So I was like, this is the time to strike. Is like, I'm so much more relieved now that you can just order it and like it'll show up.
That's why it's like, if you miss it, you're going to get the chance again. And I don't know if they still do it, but even if you miss it on Target, then eventually they'll release it on their site. You'll have to pay like that crazy shipping, but I mean, it's better than, I guess, driving around everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, it was no joke to say that like I was in Target pretty much every day when I knew that the new series were dropping, and I was like, all right, until I get them all, or all the ones I needed, at least, like until this happens, I'm going to Target every day on my lunch to track it down. And the same thing with like the Disguise set, and you know, some of the was it like the Metal Bebop and Rocksteady figures, like that 2-pack. I'm like, man, like we're making this happen somehow. I don't know, but I'm gonna find them.
This last run, I got so lucky. I was leaving work, and there was a Target next to my work, and I almost just went straight home. And then I was like, I think I should just like take a 5-minute drive there and check it out. And as soon as I walked up to the collector section, the lady was unboxing. It's like the rep was unboxing everything. I was like, oh, got it.
Nice.
Thank you. So, no, that was awesome. But all right, I think that might be the last photo. Let me just catch up on the chat. So Dorak's confirming it is Duarte. Says he followed you on Instagram.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Cool. Dorak, if you have your pictures from your Dio and you send it to me, I can try to upload it to the drive so we can like pull it up. So if you want to message in the chat and tell me that you sent them to me, let me know. Let's see. All right, so this is a doozy.
Whoa.
I was hoping he'd sign on to talk. I think maybe he's not feeling well. But this is from, I think he started following me we started following each other on YouTube, and then we just kind of chat here and there, but really cool guy. His name's Brock. Man, he took this to like a crazy level. I think he might, and that's I kind of wanted him to talk about what he did, but I guess I'll just talk about what I think he did. Um, let's see, Thomas, Instagram, sir. I think he was working on something, and when the challenge came out, he incorporated the challenge into the build that he was working on.
Oh yeah, okay.
If you look at the bottom, it has like that brick design. And when I go through these photos, I think it'll kind of blow your mind a little bit because he's making this giant display. I think he's doing it for his original Playmates figure. So I mean, this thing could hold a lot.
Nice. Yeah.
So I mean, already 3 levels. When he was sending photos, he's like, "I think I misunderstood the assignment." I was like, "No, I think you nailed it."
You're above and beyond, sir.
Yeah. Because I think once we go further, and like you'll see some of the different things he does, but what he does with the piping, I think is fantastic, really cool. So
yeah,
I think
awesome.
Bottom level sewer, top you have the garage space. Schedule a G.I. Joe discussion. It's my friend Victor. We will. We were gonna do a discussion. So his channel's all Gen X, all the great stuff about his generation, but I come in there like a smartass and I say, well, the neon era of G.I. Joe is the best era of G.I. Joe.
Is that a controversial statement? I'm not a G.I. Joe guy, so I don't know if that's like telling
I
somebody
think
that
so.
Next Mutation is the best Turtles or something. Like,
Yes, it's
okay.
kind of like that, but I mean, I don't know. I like we grew up in the 90s with Nickelodeon. Everything was bright and neon. So
So I get people upset if I say like I don't like Transformers except for like season 1 Beast Wars is like just the one I like because it's the one I remember from being in like 7th grade or whatever. And yeah, they don't like hearing that. And so
I love all the random like things that people hate in fandoms. Like I know there's diehard fans that will not buy Transformers unless they transform. And if you buy anything that's just like the robot form, that's not a true Transformer.
You're defeating the whole purpose of transforming by just not having it able to do.
So we were talking about doing a live stream where he'll talk about why, kind of like a friendly battle, why he thinks his era of G.I. Joe is better. And then I'll talk about mine.
Nice.
And
okay. Debate.
What's the point? I'm assuming he means Transformers. But what I really think is, you have, I'm sure we'll hear his argument. But my argument would be my era of G.I. Joe had Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah. The only time you ever got like a full Mortal Kombat roster from the game was like that series. No other company has ever made like a full MK1 roster ever since.
No. So we'll skip the chat for a little bit. We'll come back to that. But yeah, eventually when I get better at this live streaming thing, then I will have Victor on and we will duke it out. But looking back at Brock's, this project's crazy. Once you start seeing the colors, I think that's when you start realizing what he did. But just the levels here, and I know this is multi-level dioramas are not easy. Like it tests your patience. You have to balance all the weight, make sure everything's not going to fall and crash and then give you anxiety when your figures break. But this came out pretty cool. And and I haven't even shown it painted yet. He's done some accessories for it. So again,
cool.
He's going above and beyond. But I love what he did, like that little gas pump that he did. It looks like he embedded the pipes in.
That's what I was wondering. Like, first of all, like, what are the pipes made out of? Is it?
It looks like soft foam.
Maybe. Okay.
But the way he embedded them, I think, is super cool. And I would never thought to do that. But now that I'm seeing, I'm like, it does kind of. I feel like there are buildings like that where you see like pipes in the wall.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, going crazy with the floor detail. He's got sewer there. I can't tell if it's just taped down or if that's like a ramp, but looks cool anyway. Got some random brickwork, which I think is nice because it's not so uniform, gives a little more character. Is it starting to look like something familiar yet or not yet?
It's kind of ringing a bell, but I'm trying to.
Okay, you'll in a few more photos, you're gonna be like, okay, I know what this is. So you can see he started texturing the bottom. I think he did. He didn't go to a fourth level, but he did do 3 levels, different colors, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say the bottom is part of the bedsheet inspiration, and then the top is where he starts kind of taking some liberties, which are pretty awesome. So based on these colors, anything ringing a bell?
It's kind of looking like more Playmates. Like,
Yeah,
I'm thinking like, yeah, kind of like has the color scheme at least of that Playmates. There you go. Yeah, that's the Playmates sewer.
yeah. And like what I didn't realize it at first until I started looking at more of the photos. I was like, oh my god, he's like, I'll make my own Playmates one. And the colors, like there were so many baby blue like accessories on there.
Yeah, I remember like the I think the sewer lid was, and maybe like the what do you call it, like the binocular things that went up, like the periscope.
Yeah. Um, so Ivan in the chat says, shout out to the best diorama builder there is, Drip Mode.
I know that name too. I gotta.
So Ivan, I will tell you, probably during the pandemic, maybe a little bit before, whenever the first movie Turtles came out, I think it was the 12, the 1/4 scale Turtles came out.
Oh yeah.
I passed on them, and I kind of said, I don't, I don't want to get into collecting again. And I saw someone on YouTube build a diorama for Turtles, and it wasn't Drip, it was someone else, but they used wood and they were like cutting metal pipe, they were welding it. And I just remember like, oh, if I got those turtles, I couldn't do that. I don't have the tools to weld or cut wood or anything like that. And then months later, the little ones came out.
Mm-hmm.
The 1/12 scale ones came out, and I was like, okay, if those are more manageable, I can buy those. But then I still didn't know anything about dioramas, and I somehow found Drip's video when he did the rooftop for the movie Turtles.
That's the one I remember, I think, seeing, because he's like got the textured like ground piece and like the brick, like waist high brick wall behind him, and like, yeah, I remember seeing that one.
And I remember that I'll agree with Ivan. Like Ivan, I think he's the one that kind of got me into this, because I went from seeing someone do this out of wood and metal, and it was totally inaccessible to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then seeing Drip do it with foam and a knife and a ruler, it seemed a little more possible, right? I think and then the way his demeanor is on his videos, so he was actually really inspiring too. But I think he's the one, maybe I'll blame him because he's the one getting me into spending all this extra money and getting into a new hobby. But no, I remember seeing that and automatically it was like, I need to do that too. So definitely agree with you, Ivan. So
did he do a like a Goro layer too? Am I thinking of the right guy?
Yeah, and I think probably his 2 most popular videos, the sewer rooftop, the rooftop, and then the Goro layer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so okay. I already do follow him then, but he did a great job, because I did a Goro layer as well, and then when I watched his, I was just like, man, I'm throwing mine in the trash. Like,
No,
it's like, I mean, I built mine for like my stop motion, so it was like a little wider open, and I didn't have as many things. Like, he put so much detail into like his, and I was like, man, that's awesome. So yeah, I definitely already follow him.
I guess I'll spoil it, but ever since he did the X Mansion and he bought like that $12 dollhouse, I was searching Facebook Marketplace. I was like looking at garage sales, and then finally this person had it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be the weirdo and go buy this dollhouse. It wasn't $12. It was a little more than $12, but I think that's my next project because it's been sitting in my garage for a long time.
Oh,
but
awesome.
Again, it's because I saw him do it and he's really inspiring. So Furious D, Tom and Drip's videos have helped me. This Tom or a different Tom? But yeah, so there's a lot of things he do. And I always try not to do things the same way other people do. I think there's a few times where I catch myself and I'm like, did I learn this from somewhere? Or but I think his attitude is very much like, I'm putting this out there so you can learn.
Yeah.
when you send him messages, he's just super cool about like when I sent him the dollhouse, I said, look, I got it. He's like, oh, hell yeah, dude, go for it. You know,
That's always like what I try to like in my videos where I'm talking about it. Like I've been very, honest and upfront about saying like, all right, like 90% of what I know comes from watching Al Figure's old videos where he explains, here's what you need, here's how you do this, that, and the next, and you learn the basics. And then you just kind of go in your own direction with your own kind of signatures on these things. But yeah, like the whole point of like, especially like the dio structure group is like, you're supposed to learn from each other and you're supposed to pick up things that you can use later down the road. And like so many people are so creative, it's almost impossible to not lift something from somebody else at this point because again, like you say, it's just like inspiration from what other people are doing. And you're like, I can do that for myself or try it. I might not be great at it right away. I was I actually was watching Euler's workshop this morning and like he did like a big sci-fi like
yeah.
alien inspired diorama and I'm doing like a similar kind of sci-fi thing right now and I'm like I wonder if I could implement some of his ideas and techniques into this thing I'm already like halfway done building. Like just, try it, see if it works. But I think that's great. Yeah. It's like what people are learning from each other is like making everybody better.
Yeah. I mean, you can go pay for something like that on Skillshare, but like we're giving it for free. Right. And for me, it's just paying it forward. Like I didn't see a lot of the things I wanted made. So like I had to just kind of do things on my own, but all the entry skills that I got were from, some from you, some from Drip, Vasco.
Yeah, he's good. I like his stuff.
Oilers, that last video was really good. I didn't know you can like sand foam round until like a couple of months ago. Until I really started like working on the couches for some of the layers I was making. I was like, oh, this comes out really nice.
I think like the first time I did that was with like an air vent or something. Like I had it sticking out of the side of the building and I'm like, can I curve this? So I cut it as close as I could and then kind of sanded it the rest of the way. And I'm like, this actually works pretty well. I mean, you need to like put a mask on or be outside because otherwise it's just like foam particles breathing in. And I'm like, I can't probably be doing that, but
yeah,
it comes out looking pretty good.
But my first couch that I made for the layer, I just was like, oh, I need this to be round. I just took my knife and started shaving it. It looks terrible. But because that was my first project, I'll never replace it, no matter how terrible it looks. I've done like 3 layers since then, and they've all come out better than mine. I was like, I don't have the heart to replace this yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I learned a lot from all those people. That last video from Oilers was pretty awesome. Oh, thank you, Furious. Sorry, I didn't know if there was like a different one. And thank you, Ivan. Getting back to Brock's thing. I don't think he got back to me. So Brock was supposed to jump on. So hopefully I'm doing it justice talking about his project. But I was just kind of blown away. Like I didn't know what it was until I started seeing the colors come together. And when I saw that brown and the embedded pipe, I knew exactly what it was. I was like, damn. I was like, that's cool. So this thing's a lot of pieces. And if this is for his Playmates figures, he's gonna be able to fit a lot of things on. Hey, Wild West, how you doing?
The whole collection could probably fit in this 3-story like giant diorama.
But this might have been one of the first ones because like you see that and you automatically are like, this is inspired by Playmates. So I thought that was really cool. But then he got the rooftop there.
And the blue sewer lid. I love it.
And the blue sewer cap. You did one that was like the top, didn't you? It was didn't you do like the fence?
I have a like a wooden fence. Yeah, like it's over there right now. But like it's basically just like a wooden fence with like a bunch of posters and stuff on it. And then I have like a sidewalk and like a little it's like basically just like a little bit of a tiered thing. And I have like my Super 7 like villains on there right now. But
that's awesome.
Because I had a couple props that I got from Go Figure Go too. So I was like, these look cool in this little environment. And it's just like a nice little, like you said, it's just to break up an empty shelf and, not have to look at just a black empty space around the figures.
Yeah. And this is cool. I mean, man, my Playmates, pretty much everything here is modern, but like all my Playmates are in a box. So seeing this is actually really cool. I had my original Playmates layer out for a long time, but the way he's setting it up I think sometimes too, when I see a lot of dioramas, they're for modern day action figures. So to see something built, this makes me think like if I had the knowledge today when I was younger, like I would have been building my own play sets.
Exactly. That's like
Right.
always what I liked about like the Kenner Batman commercials and stuff is like, how come they get like an awesome looking city and like I can't buy that? I don't know how to make it, but like if I did at the time, like if I know, like you say, like what I know now, if I knew it back then, I would have been in Lowe's buying foam and like all this other stuff and like trying to explain to like my parents what I was doing.
And that's a good point. Like especially the Batman commercials, pretty much any toy commercial back in the 90s. Like they always had some kid's hand with the figure, and then like the figure would be like breaking through some rock,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'd get some like weird spring-loaded contraption with a figure, and I was like, I just want the rocks because I want my figures to like bust through a wall or something like that. And like now, in hindsight, I could have been making those this whole time because that's exactly what they were using was foam.
Basically, they never, taught the kids how to do any of that. Probably just as well. Kids not cutting themselves on like sharp knives and all this other stuff. But yeah, like I always just love that about the commercials and everything too. Even like on the photography on like the back of the packages sometimes where it would have like, I remember like the Toy Biz Batman with like the 89 figures and they're like standing in like an alleyway or a street or something. And I'm like, that just looks cool. Like, and again, I don't have that. I got a
shelf. But yeah, I just remember all those and thinking like I think I was making one video maybe for my Sentinel, and I was like rewatching the commercial of the old Sentinel a bunch, and I was like, I might want to just make that. That looks cool.
It like broke through like a warehouse wall or something, right? And then they take his knees out and he falls. I remember that.
Yeah, I think like Beast was in his chest or like Rogue was in his chest.
That's right.
Furious D says that's like my first layer, not great, but didn't want to throw it away, so instead decided to make some upgrades. Yeah, I might upgrade mine, maybe at least the furniture. But I don't know. It's charming, I guess. Like when you get up close to it, it looks pretty rough. But, and then I just made 2 recently when I did a giveaway before, and I remember finishing it. And I was like, man, this is so much better than mine. And I have more room to like build on it, but I remember like not knowing how to cut the foam and I just messed it up so much that where this could have been, I think like a 23-inch or 24-inch project, it's down to like 20, and I lost all that space. So it's like, man, if I would have if I was doing it now, I'd probably have room for a kitchen on top of the living room, and then little splinters hang out there.
Yeah.
But just it's hard to explain. I think I don't always go over basics in my videos, especially cutting foam. But I remember that being like a challenge. Like, why is my foam getting cut like this?
Yeah. I have like some of my older ones, especially too, like the concept of like constantly switching out your blades and stuff like that didn't quite sink in with me. So it's got like those jagged edges around, and like sometimes I was able to like straighten those. Like if you're making a cave or something, that's fine. But if I'm trying to make like a building and that's like, broken jagged edges on the side of it, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
That's my brother. Would have preferred you made the blocks as a kid. Some of my figures would have still been alive instead of meeting their doom in your stop motion video. So I didn't do stop motion videos to my brother. What I would do is, I think, and I get this is your fault too, because you had he had Spider-Man magazine. Do you remember that?
Yep, I remember.
And I just remember that was the first time I saw like photos of toys, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. And I think I asked for like one of those wind-up cameras. So I was kind of a professional back then.
Yeah.
And I would like line them up and take pictures, but I would light up some smoke bombs and then, but I would only test it out on his figures. So
right.
Like,
yeah. It makes sense.
Just in case things went wrong, and they did. I think it was a bunch of RoboCop figures. I definitely melted a few of them. The Kodak zips. Yep. That's what I had. That's when I knew I made it. Um, but yeah, so he brings that up. Like I thought I was doing special effects, but I guess not. He could fit the turtle van in here, which I think is crazy.
Oh, that's really cool. That explain okay, because I was like, okay, he's got like a gas pump and a garage door. Like, is that for a street level thing? But now I'm seeing like, no, that's where they park the whip. I love it.
So I think just to like go to scale on this thing is just he made that thing. That's a pretty big boxy vehicle.
Yeah.
So to fit in this is pretty impressive. Man. So when he said, yeah, I think I missed the mark, I was like, no, I think you above and beyond. And I think, have you tried this using Legos as like a mold?
I've seen people do that, but I've never done it myself. No.
I
It's like for like holding things in place while they're like
I think
setting
so.
or like, okay.
And then I don't know how he did that.
Oh, that's awesome.
But that looks all hand carved.
Yeah. Now I'm looking at it. I was like, I think because at first I was like, is that just like the actual like the NECA one that he kind of like repurposed the parts of? But no, that's like totally different than the NECA one.
So I think he got like the basic shape, but he was able to kit bash this together. I wish I pulled up pictures of it, but I was going through some of his stuff and he did an amazing like TIE fighter kit bash.
Really?
So he does some cool work, and I don't want to call it like trash building, but have you seen Stutson Studio by chance on YouTube?
I don't think so.
He does trash builds, and he just takes things that people would normally throw in the garbage and turns it into like these crazy pieces of art. Nice. So when I saw Brock's work and I was looking at what he did with the TIE fighter, I was like blown away because he made the face of the TIE fighter more look like a window for like Boba Fett's mask.
Mm-hmm.
But see if I can send that later.
Yeah.
But the coloring is great. Like immediately I saw it, I knew exactly what I was looking at. So that's awesome. And then I think that was the picture where I was like, yeah, he went for the sewer layer, which is pretty cool. Let's see. I know someone wanted to send photos. Oh, there we go. Dora. Let's see if he actually. I'll tell him if he can send them to me and I can work them in. Send photos if you can.
I'm wondering if there's going to be like a pipe added in under that sewer lid there that's going to like lead into one of the parts of the diorama or something. Like, is he going to get...
He said this was a work in progress. So
yeah, that's awesome so far. Like, I like that the like the openings in the front are like off center too. Like you get the wider one and then this shorter one, and then they kind of like stagger a little bit. That's really cool.
Yeah, but like then he has all this room to kind of do more and add on to it. So I think he said he wasn't done. Was that the last one? Oh, I don't want to give it away. But I think that's his last one. I'm going to see if I get some more of those photos from Dora. Let's see. He sees. Let me stop sharing for a second. Or I'll keep going. Let's see. Rest in peace, a lot of my old G.I. Joes, but I got the greatest photos of the disposable camera. Nice. PVC pipe sliding down. Yeah, that would kind of make it like the old Ghostbuster layer, the Ghostbuster firehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! I think I've seen Dorak. I think I've seen your work before. Hold on, let me try to save everything and get it on. But so he sent me a bunch of stuff. All right, actually, Dorak, I might have to save this for another time, but these are freaking crazy. So I'll send you the work that he does.
Nice, yeah, okay.
He's got those Mezco turtles out. Damn, that's super impressive. Well, let me see if I can send one or two over. But so the next thing that I was thinking, I didn't realize. So if more people would have signed up to do this, we would have been here for hours. So I'm kind of glad only 3 people did. But then I kind of think like in the future, what are other cool kind of themes? And this is one of them. I see this picture come up all the time. I know it's Norman Rockwell, but this seems like something that would be really cool.
Casey
Like you can
Jones
use,
behind the bar there, like
like you can use the animated ones, and then maybe use Zach as like the boy on the shelf, and then
oh yeah,
I think you got a lot of these accessories where you can kind of recreate this. Like he has that turtle shell backpack. We got the scepter. So just one idea, and then they just happen to both be Norman Rockwell ideas, but this one I see pop up a lot. So thought that'd be cool. I don't know. Any other ideas for the future you can see? Like, I don't want to straight rip off the card back one, but that is a cool project.
yeah, I
Now,
do like that.
I don't know who did the first one, but I remember someone did it, and then someone copied it, and we kind of had this conversation. You know, if you're putting it out there, you're putting it out there for people to see and learn.
Mm-hmm.
But the second person that made it then put a bunch up for sale, which I thought
Oh, okay.
it was kind of funny, and I was like, damn. I was like, that's brutal.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, so this, I think he got one of these. He has the Show Razor, I think, from the 2012 show. So let me see if I can add these to the drive.
Something interesting you brought up before where like you're not ready to like replace your sewer yet because it's like the first one you made. I for some reason it like triggered in my mind like what if I were to like try and find the first diorama I made and then like try and do it again now today with like all the experience and knowledge and like just see kind of like how different it turns out. Like just basically take the same idea. It doesn't have to be the same measurements and same dimensions and everything, but just kind of the same idea, I guess. And it's like, how would I approach it today now with like better working knowledge?
I think the other part too is that, you know, thinking of like my first project and then what I've done since, it's growth, right? And you can see it with each project. Like there's some projects that when I first started with and looked at, I was always kind of like, oh, what did I do? I think of one that I was like, oh, this is kind of crap. I think I did one of like Wolverine in a bedroom, and the windows were just so janky and bad. Like I would totally do it differently today.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember thinking like, okay, you got to do better next time you do windows. So that's one thing. I kind of keep it around to like look at and say, okay, don't do what you did there. Do it differently next time. I'm getting some of his photos added because I think he's using the Mezco turtles, but he has some pretty cool Dio pics. So
Nice.
I don't know if it's in line with the bed sheet, but they're sweet pictures. So I'm gonna try and get them up there. But let me see if I gotta refresh it. Stop screen. I want to. Oh, is Brock on here? They will need to connect their mic. Oh, I think Brock was here.
Oh, nice.
I don't know. It says device is not connected. So let me see. Let me present your screen. This is my lack of, let's see, drive.
Doing it on the fly.
Yeah. So now it's just you and me on the screen. There we go. All right. I think the newer photos are in there. Let me see. What projects do you have coming up next? So you said you're working on some sci-fi?
Yeah, I got I posted it in my Instagram story like yesterday and today. Like it's just right now it's just all painted like flat gray and I'm going to like do some layers on it and like weathering and stuff, but I have it's like a sci-fi like space station kind of thing. And then after that, I'm not sure. Like I would like to attempt like a bat cave of some kind, but like for the old school, like the Kenner figures, I think that would be cool because I still have like a lot of my old stuff and I'm like thinking back now like to what we were talking about before where I'm like, man, like I wanted those sets from those commercials, like, and now I can make something kind of more like that. Cause like I have the you know, the bat cave that opened up and like had the, you know, the garage door and everything. And like that's at my dad's house, like nowhere near here. So
we've
like
chatted about that before, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that I think that is one of the. I think that's one of the best play sets ever.
Yeah, they got their mileage out of it too. That came out with like every movie and every it's like every cartoon like did the same one. I remember being mad because it was the only way you could get Alfred, but I didn't want to buy a whole extra Batcave just to get Alfred for that time because I already had the Batman, Returns one or Forever one or whichever. So I'm like, I don't, man, like Alfred's just gonna be in my imagination forever.
I know, but they've made him in some ways, right? Like some companies have made him.
Yeah, well, I mean, back then, like they did end up putting him out in like a multi-pack, and I think Commissioner Gordon was in there too, based on like the more recent animated series. So like, eventually, you were able to get those figures, but like as a kid, like I just never had them.
Yeah, I think I don't think I had him in any version whatsoever. So
I think the only one I have now is probably Michael Caine. Like I didn't get the there was a recent one with like the 89 Alfred head, but you could also put like a comic book head on it, and that looked great. And I just never picked it up.
yeah, and I think the original Batman the Animated Series, not the original one, but like the DC one, didn't he come with? Didn't he come with the layer?
Oh, he might have that cave, right?
Yeah, before McFarlane took it over, I think he came with the actual control center.
You might be right because I had seen that was like one of those play sets that had like sat in my comic shop here forever. And then like if you know who Posable Productions is on Instagram, he loves like Batman the Animated Series and he does like a lot of that kind of photography. He's the product photographer for Mondo now for like their animated series stuff.
Oh, nice.
But like he lives like an hour away from me and I was just like, dude, they got this Batcave in my comic shop. It's like retail price. He's like, that's going for a lot more than retail. So if you pick it up, like, yeah, I'm definitely interested. And then the day I went back for it, it's just gone. I'm like, oh man, like.
So Brock, hey, I see you trying to come on, but your camera and your mic aren't on. If you can figure that out. In the meantime, so these are some of the pictures from Dora. They're pretty nuts.
Awesome.
And you're great at photography, dude, because the lighting. Isn't that the knot splinter in the background?
That's what I was going to ask. Is that because I got him down here in the box? I haven't opened him or the Not Donnie yet, but I hear that. I think the Master, it's called. I hear that's like great. It's a great figure.
But I think some of these photos went out of order, so I might have to like find some. Let me see. But yeah, these are pretty cool shots. There's a lot of photos here. Da-da.
Did you end up getting any of those? Like the Not Splinter and Not Leo? And
I gotta tamper myself, man. I
understand.
The big thing is it's just like at first it was all Marvel Legends and then Turtles too. And I think I just got so overwhelmed with Marvel Legends. I have mostly everything where like not too much is exciting me lately. Like I'm just waiting on a few characters. There's another one.
Okay, nice.
Hey, Duff, man, how you doing?
That's great, yeah.
So I don't know. I've been really just wanting to get into more independent lines. Yeah, sorry, Brock. It's not coming up at all. I don't think it's on my side. But I just really wanted to like make room for other toy lines, and so I really had to put myself in a box with Turtles. I said movies and Toon. I've deviated a little bit. I got the four brothers with Masters of the Universe, the Turtles of Grayskull. I'll only get those. Power Ranger crossovers, I have those. And then the Universal Monsters, I love them. But they do take up a lot of space.
They're big. Yeah, those are enormous figures.
So I don't think I'm trying not to branch out to like I love some of the best action Turtles look pretty good. Like the I forgot what the art style is, but it looks like the ones from the video game. The IDW ones.
Oh yeah, okay. IDW, I have those, just the four of them, but like they're pretty nice. Like as far as just like figures go, like I'd never had any of the best action stuff before, so I wasn't really sure what I was getting into. But yeah, as figures, I pretty much think they're really good.
Yeah. I'll show this one last photo. Again, it's from Dora. Dude, I don't think I've made anything look this good. I'm like, this looks friggin' awesome with the piping and holy crap. I'm assuming you use resin there. And how did you get that little mini 90s cup? That's pretty cool.
I've only tried like water once, and like this is blowing my attempt away. Like I use like it's like the caulk that you would put like in a caulking gun for like just like the edge of your bathtub or whatever. But like I just popped it open and like spread it onto the surface and then kind of like made waves in it with a piece of cardboard and then like painted it. And it's not bad, but like this has got like a reflective tone to it. Like it really looks like just filthy, slimy. I love it.
Brock, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Man, sorry.
I'm so sorry. I got my time zones confused.
Oh, it's okay. So we're gonna wrap up soon, but I if you can go over quickly your project, because I explained it, but I don't think I did it justice. So
I'll try
real quick, let me just introduce you to Cap Brock.
Hey,
Cap.
Hello.
What's going on?
Not much. Sorry for being so late. Yeah, so I've been watching Thomas and a bunch of other guys for a long time, and I do customs and stuff, but I've never done a full foam custom before.
Wait, this is your first time doing something like this?
Something this big. I mean, I've done a bunch of little stuff, but I've never done a full foam project like this before. So my idea was, so when I was a kid, 6th grade, my brother, he actually got a job at a pizza place, his first job, and he spent his first paycheck. He went to Toys R Us and got like everything they had. And so he got me the layer and everyone from the first wave. And we weren't like the kids who had everything. So it was a big deal. So I had like all the guys on the back of the first wave, like I had all of them. That was like a huge deal in 6th grade in the 89 or so. And so anyways, he got me the base, and like the only thing I didn't have was the van at the time. But what I always wanted out of the base is there's the stickers in the background, and it shows like the turtle's bedroom and the kitchen and stuff, and there was nowhere to park the vehicle because I had the motorcycle. So that's what I always wanted. So that was my idea when he was talking about what's your kind of nostalgic moment for turtles, and that was mine, was wishing the base was bigger, basically.
Yeah, so, that is true, because I think when I was displaying mine, I had like 20 figures just like stuffed in there just to have them out instead of in a box. But yeah, it wasn't necessarily a big play set. But
yeah,
we were looking at your project before, and we were wondering, how did you embed the pipes into the foam?
So that was I just cut a hole. This was left over from a side job I did. It's just it's that Sikaflex. You put it in cracks in concrete where when you pour the caulking, it doesn't pour out. And so I just had it on my truck, and it was like, oh, that'll work. Because I was going to use a bunch of PVC pipe and stuff and buy a bunch of fittings, and I was like, well, I could just cut it and it'll bend. So I just cut a channel and just shoved it in. That stuff's real flexible.
That's super smart.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good. And then everything else is just kind of what do they call it? Craft foam, the yellow stuff.
So were you listening when we were kind of going over and talking about it? Like I said, I don't think I probably
no. I got on like right now.
Okay. Well, it was actually kind of cool for people that don't know anything about the project. We were trying to like determine like where you were going with this, and I remember you said, "Oh, I think I went a little off topic," and I was like, "No, you nailed it, above and beyond." Because I think once you start seeing the colors, like I see the bed sheet design, I see at the bottom.
Yeah.
Right. And then as you go closer to the top, I think you can really start realizing what it is with the colors. But we were going over all like, I remember it's like seeing how you embedded that was kind of crazy. It's awesome.
Can I grab it and try and show you it all painted and everything?
Yeah.
So it's sorry. I was planning on being able to use my phone, but it's not cooperating.
Let's see. Are you lifting the whole thing and bringing it over here?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Dorak says, I had an artistic background all throughout grade school. Hadn't done any real art since 2004. Randomly got into collecting figures and started sketching again. Unfortunate health conditions. I have a lot of free time on my hands. I'm sorry, brother, but yeah, that diorama that you showed is probably more realistic than anything I've ever built, for sure. So you definitely have a fantastic eye. Holy crap. Bro, I'm in just.
I can't get a good camera on it. Let's see what I can do. I was planning on setting all this up, and I thought I had like an hour and a half.
Let's see.
Oh, that's awesome. But the top has like the fence and the posts like from the Playmate set.
Yeah, that's my idea. I was trying to make it look like just like Playmates made it.
Yeah, that's great.
I had a light. That's really disappointing. I'm sorry I screwed all this up. But I made a little with a nod to the Bay movies.
That's cool.
Nice.
So,
I'm trying to make you bigger. Let's see.
It doesn't want to cooperate. And this sucks. I'm sorry. So up top is like the original Playmates. Except I put the smaller side on this side, since in the cartoon, like the kitchen was on that side. So
Oh, nice.
There, and then made it bigger, and then.
Oh, so you've done way more since the last time I saw it.
Yeah, I've been working all morning. I just stopped, and then I got the pipes on this end. What I did is I printed up the original stickers and just glued them on.
That's so cool.
That's
some
awesome.
of them, like this one, I just copied this sticker and just drew it with magic markers. And it actually turned out pretty good for the style and stuff. And then same thing with let me see if I can get the garage. So the garage door, the carving didn't turn out how I wanted, and that's where I got the idea to just draw it.
The bunk bed's finished. That's cool.
Oh yeah, and then the bunk bed, and that's Splinter's room next door. So I wanted these to be, for whatever reason, my brain wanted those at an angle, kind of like the forced perspective of the cartoon when it showed into their rooms.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted for the bedrooms, and then that's Donnie's lab, obviously, right there next to the garage. And so my son, he was bored, so he made Donnie's table for me.
Have you put a figure through the pipe?
I haven't yet. You want me to give it a try?
Yeah, do that.
The live debut. All right.
Grab my boy so he can hold it. Hawk! Come here. That's the first thing he asked is, can you put a guy through the pipe?
But I was wondering before, like when we were seeing the pictures, I was like, that sewer lid is like, what? I wonder if something's going to go under there, right? Like, I wonder what it's going to be. And now I'm like, there
That's
it is.
cool.
Perfect.
That's really cool.
Just right here. You got room. So I don't see why it wouldn't work. Let's find out. Oh, he got stuck.
Inaugural fight. Oh, that was awesome.
Nice.
That was awesome.
So, and then I made wanted everything to look like Playmates just molded it one piece. So
We were super impressed by that because we were like, damn, he got like the shape down, but you shrunk it for the Playmates figures, which is awesome.
yeah, that was my plan. So I got again, I apologize that I couldn't get some good views on it. I got a cool little story too to tell about turtles too.
Yeah, let's get one last final look at it, and then tell your story, and then we'll wrap up. Let me get three of us even out here.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So quick story. It's kind of cool. I can't fully prove it's true, but I got some corroboration. So when I was a kid, my dad, he's passed away now, but he always said that the turtles, he said, I met this guy and he used to carve these weird little creatures. back a long time ago, and he always said how the turtles reminded him of that. And so we used to live in Hawaii when I was a kid, and he'd met him back there. And so I was watching a video with the guy who sculpted the turtles. His name's Gary something, and he was talking about he had met this guy in Hawaii and bought his dental technician tools. My dad was a dental technician, and they carved the teeth with wax, and he used the little tools. And the guy had gone to his garage sale, and he bought the tools, and he was showing. He said, "I still use them to this day. This is what I used to carve all the Ninja Turtles." And so I actually emailed the guy, and I was like, "Was it around this time? That's when we moved from Hawaii?" And he was like, "Yeah, it was." So it could have been my dad who sold him his tools that made all the Ninja Turtles, which
Oh, wow.
that's kind of cool. I like to think that it's true. So, and
So what was the documentary? It was like the first turtle documentary that came out, and I think they showed the guy that was talking about like molding out of clay. Is that the guy you're talking about?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
So
that's really cool.
So he said it could be, but he wasn't. He was like, yeah, I mean, I was around that time. So, but my dad passed away. There's no way to be for sure, but close enough to true for me.
Process of elimination. How many yard sales in Hawaii were selling dental tools?
Right.
Yeah, I'm willing to go with it just based on like, timing and everything. It lines up.
So
that's awesome. Well, hey, Brock, sorry, we're gonna probably wrap up soon. I'll kind of let you guys go around, tell people where they can find you, and then we'll wrap it up. So, Brock, go first.
So I just do things for fun, but if you want to go on Instagram, it's under Cole Jai. I don't even remember why I called it that. It's KOLLJIGH on Instagram, or on YouTube, which I haven't posted on in a while. But I was gonna put a video together for this and put on YouTube, and that's at Wasted Space with Brockhauser. So that's me.
All right, I put your name in the chat. So Brock has all the pictures broken down from that project on his Instagram. So if you want to go see, like, really get a good look at everything, go check out his Instagram. Really cool. I'm glad you were able to make it on. I was like feeling bad because I'm not great at technology, so I didn't know if it was coming from my end.
Right. No, I'm just dyslexic, and I completely got the time wrong.
Oh, it's all good, man. All right, Cap.
I am on Instagram, Captain McKay. I'm on YouTube, Captain McKay Random. It's all action figure hobby stuff, stop motion. It's dioramas. It's just like kind of collection updates here and there. It's all fun. Come hang out, check it out. If you like what you see on this channel, odds are I got something you might enjoy too.
Cap's got a backlog of videos that will keep you entertained for a really long time. So might have been, I would say, probably one of my first friends on YouTube. So appreciate you hopping on, taking the time. It's been really cool. Definitely. Hey, guys, this has been super fun. I'm glad that we had some participation. I know it was 3 people, but it's 3 people more than I thought we'd have. So I'm just really excited. So my project now lives at my mom's house, and she'll probably get a few more and yell at me for it, but it's all good. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We'll stick back around. Maybe I'll do some more live streams. I had a lot of fun doing this, just kind of sitting and chatting. But until next time, we'll see you later. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.